When you do what you really, really love from this gut response, you can move mountains. You can manifest whatever when you are in the right place. And I think this is a huge aspect of your magnificence, really standing in this power.
Magnificence is the boundless expanse of being, a liberation from limitation. It is the embodiment of authenticity, where you shed the shackles of self-doubt, shame, and imposter syndrome. Here, worthiness flourishes like a vibrant garden where you have the power to determine your actions, destinations, and your closest relationships. In the realm of magnificence, creative individuality takes center stage. Your greatness is acknowledged, celebrated, and nurtured. Gone are the days of mindless conformity or fitting in just to keep the peace. This show and your host, Patricia Lindner, are here to guide you as you align with your authentic design, leading the way to a life of purpose and fulfillment. Magnificence is not some unreachable peak or distant dream. It's inside you, waiting to shine brighter than you ever thought possible. Welcome to your magnificence.
Hello everyone, this is another episode of Magnificence, an empowerment podcast that strikes a match and shines the light on the magnificence of its guests. And today I have with me the amazing Malik Turley. Hello and welcome to the show, Malik.
Thanks. Hello.
First of all, I would love to introduce you and then pass the ball to you so that you could dive deeper into what I say about you so that the audience knows a little bit about you. So Malik Turley is using the power of movement and community to dismantle diet culture and change the world. That sounds huge, Malik. Please tell us more about what your mission is.
Absolutely. And it is big. It's the kind of thing that is probably going to take a lifetime. And I need folks to be doing the work as well so that it goes beyond my lifetime. In a nutshell, the society, specifically in the US, though it cascades out all over the world, thanks to how prolific the US ideas are, the society is telling humans, with an emphasis on women, that there's a right way to be. There's a right size to be. There's a right shape to be. And that if you aren't that right size or shape, you basically have no value. And so your energy should be spent working really hard to get yourself into this tiny little box that was created based on really faulty and harmful ideas that have roots in racism, in patriarchy, in a bunch of ways that we try and make women smaller. And now that has cascaded out to the entire world. So I am working very hard at showing the fact that these things are not true, that there is another way to be, that all of us have value, and working on getting folks to start saying that out to their communities and cascading that message so that we can break diet culture for good.
So you are the disruptor with this amazing ripple effect on all of us. And so when listening to you, I just felt there is such a huge connection between the two of us because it focuses on the magnificence in people, the uniqueness, the individuality. Everyone has a gift inside and there is no right or wrong. There is no good or bad. This is just BS. To speak honestly, that's just what we were told to do or to be, to behave. And I loved when you say, just go into this tiny little box. It is not comfortable in there, but most or lots of people try to fit in. And I love having disruptors on this show. That's so great that you are here. Such an honor. I said that we are going to strike a match and shine the light on your magnificence, Malik. through the lens of human design. And just before we hopped on, I asked you, did you ever have a human design chart reading? Did I talk about your chart beforehand when we got to know each other? And you said, no.
Nope.
Which makes it so exciting to share the chart with you and all the people watching this show. So let me just go ahead and share the screen so that you can have a closer look at your chart. So you can see it. I hope you can see the chart. And this is the full chart. I want to go into details later. So I need to focus on some magnificent things because otherwise we would go for 4 or 5 hours. And so just generally speaking, I want to share with you that you are a manifesting generator. And that's what I thought. So we too are manifesting generators, and manifesting generators are really here to do the work and to manifest things. They are a hybrid between the manifester, who is here to really bring things into existence, oftentimes by bending the time, being really innovative in this way, and the generator who has the power to alchemize things, to become better at what they do. So this is you in a nutshell, talking human design. And maybe you resonate when I say the manifesting generator is also called the time bender. Because when I discovered that some people say it's a time bender, I resonated so much. And I would love to ask you and pass it on to you. Do you feel like you want to find shortcuts for changing the world?
Well, if you have any, that would be lovely. Yes, a shortcut would be great. I feel like I am often in a space by myself. I don't find myself working on things that are happening around me so much. So maybe that's relating to what you're saying, that I'm doing things before they become more mainstream or what have you. And I definitely in the both the manifesting and the generating, because I understand from what you said that those are different. I definitely make things happen. Like I don't wait for someone else to do the thing. If I find something that is missing, I make it go. Now, so that part resonates.
Malik, you're probably involved in many aspects, in many facets, in many things, because manifesting generators are types that are multitasking, that don't want to be niched down or put into a box. They want to do it all. They want to read 5 books at a time, even though they don't finish all the books. They need it to burn off the energy that is in them. They are like volcanoes. They really burst because they have a lot of energy. And just by listening to you and knowing you just a little, I feel you are this person.
I definitely, whenever anybody asks, like, oh, what things are you into or what do you do? My list tends to be overwhelming to people. And so I sometimes will only let out 2 or 3 things because then it's a little bit more manageable for folks. But yeah, I have, Tapas Movement that I run that we were talking about before. I write and publish. I paint and dance and any number of other things. So yes, I do many, many, many things all at the same time.
Yeah. And now I want to disrupt, because I guess you heard about this saying that you need to focus on one thing and only do this to really be the best at what you do. And I want to break this vicious cycle of this is not true, because I think and I feel the truth is you're way of doing many things and really being into many things is your specialty. And I bet you can help people in so many ways, and you might attract clients that come to you with one thing, and then you can help them with maybe 10, 12, 20 different other things. And I feel this is not like a jack of all trades. This is like a magnificent, broad specialist.
That works. I don't like the jack of all trades thing, because the second half of that, right, is master of none.
Yeah.
Right. Even though I do many different things, I put myself fully into anything that I'm doing. So I don't feel like I'm just like skimming the surface of all the things that I do. I just happen to do a lot of them.
Yeah. I'm totally with you. And that's when I came up with my umbrella is Magnificence, and I'm not just for this or that niche, but I want to bring out the magnificence in people. And so you are a disruptor as well. So let's dive deeper into your chart, because there are quite some magnificent aspects in the chart. And I want to pull it up again and just giving you a little insight into your chart. Whenever you see white spots in the body graph, that means there is openness in your chart. That means that you have antennas to the outer world. These are places where you really can tune into the people and circumstances around you, and you're really open. You're open. So there is a flip side to that. People can manipulate the open centers, of course. And it is so great to really be aware of the openness and use it as a gift. And all the colored spots in the chart, the centers that are brown or red in your case, they are defined. And this is that the energy comes from an internal place. So this is where people can hardly manipulate you. That's what defines you. That's who you are. And there are certain things about the defined aspects as well. And so what I wanted to focus on first is that with the open crown, and I want to use the magnifying glass here, just focusing on this aspect, that makes you really a person that is open to impulses, inspiration, spiritual inspiration, that is really open-minded and open for the opinions of others. So you don't judge people for their opinions. You just take it into account and you listen, and you pull the information with your antennas. You pull the information in, and this makes you someone who is very tuned into the field around you, so you can get what people want and what people talk about. And yeah, I just leave it here and go on with the gate in a while. I hope that this resonates with you and that this is what you feel or who you feel you are.
Yeah, definitely. That all sounds like me. That sounds resonant.
Yeah. And so this is just the general information. That's the same case for everyone who has this open crown. There is this openness with the antennas to the outside world. Of course, there is the flip side of you could be pulled away by so many inspirations, but I want to focus on the magnificence, and therefore I want to even go closer. You see, there is a gate, and this is gate 61, which is turned on in this triangle of your crown. And this is the gate of inner truth. And I wanted to focus on this one because I wanted to discuss this. This is someone who is able to know the universal and who is able, even though you have this openness, you are able to influence others by you having achieved the balancing between firmness and flexibility. I don't know if this speaks to you, but it stood out. And so I wanted to focus on this gate.
Yeah. Can you say a little bit more about the firmness and flexibility? Like what, give me an example or...
So really, not being, so you have this preconceived ideas, and that's the way it is. But for you, it is this balancing act of flexibility. You can go into whatever shows up and you can allow things in and not have this fixed idea of something. But there is also some firmness around you, which makes you able to know the universal. So there is both ends aspect in this gate.
So I am very much a rule follower. Like if there's a set of rules, I will do what I can to stay inside them. I am willing to see that a rule is wrong, though, and then work to change it. Does that?
Totally.
I agree.
Absolutely. And so that's why I thought I want to focus on this aspect. I don't go into so many gates, but I was really interested to learn more about so how do you do that? How do you combine this firmness, this aspect of following rules, and also the flexibility to shift and to change and to be open? And now you answered my question. Thank you for doing this. And I think this is really a good way to see the holistic or the whole picture. Yeah. Other than that, there is, so I need to make it bigger again. There is a thing, and now you said you are someone who is able to follow rules, or you follow rules. And I would love to tune into your decision-making authority that is sort of a motor that is in your energetic field, and your motor is down there, so the circle. That is your sacral center. And whenever you need to decide if something is right or wrong, we said there is no right or wrong, but just following a rule or not, breaking the rule, making your own rule, it is tuning into your sacral center and listening to your gut to hear this deep sound from your gut, or to really feel and sense and maybe hear, no way, not for me. I'm not good with that. I'm not able to follow this, or I need to do that. So this is what makes you, as a manifesting generator with sacral authority, really find the healthy decisions and decide in a way that is in alignment with who you are. It is turning or tuning into your gut with this and sound.
That is definitely a part of my world. And that is the time when I will not follow a rule, is if the words I use are just like, I will trust my gut. Like I will stay the course to a certain extent, or stay within the rules unless or until my gut tells me, no, this one is not what you should follow, or this plan you made with someone you should cancel, or it comes up in many different ways. And I trust that sensation above pretty much anything else. So
And that is so magnificent and almost incredible, because you said you didn't know about your chart. And it is like you follow this instinct of asking your gut and making the decision like this. Because if you don't, if you just try to think it or just make the decision with your mind, then you could really go deep into frustration. And you seem to be really on the path of following your gut message and your gut instincts, which makes you really a healthy and magnificent manifesting generator.
I would say it's something that I have found. I don't know that I know that I didn't always do that. But it is something that I have found my way to, I would say probably in the last 15 years. And it's honestly related to the work that I'm doing around dismantling diet culture, because diet culture takes us out of our body, and like we're all in our head, or we're even in other people's heads instead of being in ourselves. And so the work I had to do personally to get myself out of that churn involved getting into my body. And once I did that, then I was able to hear or notice those internal indicators of yes or no.
Yeah.
I don't think I was it's not that they weren't there. It's just I wasn't listening to them before.
Right. Cool. I love that you're so in tune with your chart. And just so, as I said, let's focus on the sacral. You see that what is really outstanding when we look at your chart, there is this connection between your sacral and the throat, which makes you a manifesting generator. In your case, this is the archetypal chart of a manifesting generator, the direct connection between the sacral center and the throat, which is the center of manifestation, where you speak your gut truth. And I would really love to point this out, and I want to make it even bigger. So in your case, you are a highly charismatic person. And I can say this now because I listened to you and you said you make your decisions with your gut. So you are in the right place doing all the work that you do. And I want to ask you more about the work you do in just a few minutes, because someone who decides according to the gut response and is in tune with what your gut says is highly charismatic, because this is the channel. So a full line is a channel, the channel of charisma, which means someone with this line has the power of showing up in a very charismatic way as soon or as long as this person is in the right place concerning the career, for example. So you thrive and you are convincing and you are full of power when you do what you really, really love from this gut response. And then you can move mountains. You can manifest whatever when you are in the right place. So it is taking action in the now according to your gut. And also it is the individual energy of being contagious because of what you do and the way you show up. And I think this is a huge aspect of your magnificence, really standing in this power, being able to be this charismatic leader. That's what I want to say. Yes.
That is interesting to see. I thought when you said that there was a connection between the sacral and the throat, I thought you were going to say that that meant that like I wouldn't I don't hold back very easily. Like if I think or feel something, it tends to come out, and that's where I thought you were going. Charismatic is a much nicer way to say that. So I'm going to take it. I'm going to run with it.
Yeah, and I feel you are in this place where you really do what you love. And I would love to ask you, just not only focusing on your chart, how come that you do what you do, that you are this disruptor and want to dismantle diet culture and bring this change to the world? Is there a story behind this?
Yeah, well, yes, there is. I was living my life, minding my own business, what have you, in a body, and I ran into some of the limitations that diet culture puts. I mean, I had grown up steeped in diet culture, so at this point, I'm 30 and I'm not feeling good about myself, and I know that I'm supposed to be working my way into this tiny little box and all that good stuff. And even so, I had a strong sense of myself in that I knew I was a good person. I knew I was intelligent. I knew I could do things. I separated my container from my personality.
Yeah.
And then I discovered through conversation that that is not the case for a lot of people, that those are all one container. So if they're not feeling good about their container, they don't feel good about themselves at all. And I got really fired up about that because I was like, but you're all awesome humans. Like, it doesn't matter what container you're in. And that's when I started going down this path, was because I had that sensation in my gut that like, but I have to fix this. And figuring out where it came from led me to diet culture. And so then once I knew where it came from, I wanted to break it. I wanted to erase it. So that's how I got started. I originally was just a dance teacher or just a fitness instructor. Like, I wasn't trying to do anything big. I was just trying to have fun and move my body and what have you. And then when that injustice, if you will, was discovered, then I was fired up and I needed to change it. I needed to fix it. So that I feel like tracks well with what you're saying about the sacral and the throat and the trusting my gut and also doing something with that realization.
And so when I introduced you, I said that you do this through movement. And that could, so just when someone listens, that could mean, yeah, doing the exercises and movement. I feel there is much more to this movement. I feel there is inner movement. And I feel that you are a person of movement in so many facets. And this just makes me think of something in the chart. But before we look at the chart, just mirror back if this is the right track. I feel it's not just dance,
not just dance, but it is dance, right? And it's not just yoga, but it is yoga. So what I said before about diet culture taking us out of ourselves and out of our body, the way that we can get back into our body is through moving it, right? Like if I'm dancing, if I'm doing yoga and I'm aware all the way out to my fingertips and all the way down to my toes and everything in between, the only way I'm going to do that is if I dip into my body, right? So if in 30 minutes or 15 minutes or 90 minutes, doesn't matter how long, if in that class time you're fully in your body, you're giving yourself a break from diet culture as long as diet culture does not enter that class space. And unfortunately, a lot of movement classes are so riddled with diet culture messaging. So in that sense, it is movement. It is absolutely, I'm bringing people together and we are sweating, we are dancing, we are stretching, what have you. We're also participating in a movement to eradicate diet culture. So by choosing to come into that space to do your movement, you are saying to yourself and to the world, I'm not taking that messaging that you want to give me when all I want to do is move my body. I'm choosing not to do that. I'm going to do it here with these people in this community. And with that experience, I am going to now become part of the dismantling diet culture movement and interrupt conversations around the dinner table or interrupt my coworkers when they, demonize a donut or whatever they're doing. Now, because I had that movement experience, I'm part of the movement to change the world.
Oh, I love the different aspects of movement. And let me add a layer to this by sharing your chart again. That's so great. Just pulling this up, and I get better and better at playing around with this magnifying glass. So when you talk about movement, there are two things that I want to focus on. First of all, and maybe this is too small, tell me if one can't see it well, there is gate 56. That is part of your throat center, throat chakra. And it is turned on as a gate. That means there is this black line. So black and red is just the difference is it is conscious or it is subconscious. It's the design or the personality part. And you might be pretty conscious about this 56 gate, which is the gate of the wanderer. And I need to put it up even more. Oh, there are so many aspects. We should go for 3 hours. So, see, I don't know why I came up with this, but just listening to the movement, now this is the gate of the wanderer. That is someone who wants to move and wants to explore and wants to travel. That's what I thought. So, and now that I look at your gene key, the conscious sun is the 56. This is your mission. It is someone that has this aspect in the conscious sun that is an overarching theme, movement, wandering, traveling, exploring. And it makes me really connect to the fact that you traveled a lot and now you traveled to a different country and now you are in different countries.
Yes, very much so. And now that I'm here, I'm traveling more than I ever have here. So absolutely.
Okay. So this is really what makes you, this is outstanding. This is an aspect of your magnificence to embody this wanderer aspect, this movement. So you intuitively chose this path, and now I hope that I can really add some validation or some more aspects to what you already do in such a magnificent way. Other than that, and now I want to make it smaller because this is, I think it is pretty small on the screen. We have another complete line. This is a channel, and I didn't talk about this channel in all the previous episodes because no one had this channel. And so I want to focus on this as well. This is a very interesting channel. That is a channel that has a huge influence on the whole chart. So if we did a really in-depth reading, I would point this out and would really take this into account that this influences a lot because it is the channel of mutation. That is what it's called. And the channel of mutation is that probably, and I don't know you that well in your life, things happened where radical changes occurred. Radical changes. That could be like a 180-degree movement to go to another country, or maybe leaving a relationship, leaving a job. And the magnificence around this is as soon as you accept not knowing when the next quantum leap, because most of the time people who have these amazing shifts and radical changes, they take a quantum leap into new realms. As long as you accept that you don't know when it comes again and where it takes you, then you are fine. And so I would really love to learn more about what you think about this channel.
Yeah, well, I have just made, pretty significant changes. Today, when you're filming this, is actually the 1-year anniversary of making my move to Spain. So that was a huge transition. Also, throughout my world, I've had, I'm on, I don't even know which career I'm on at this point. And each time I've transitioned careers, it's been a pretty significant shift. It's not a subtle change where I'm basically doing the same thing all the time. So that's been a constant theme for me in life. And then the other thing is that whenever I do something, if I pick up something new, much like I was saying before, that I don't like the jack of all trades, master of none idea, I go all in. So friends know if I bring up something new, they're like, oh, hold on, because she's gonna be just all this for a while. So that feels like it matches what you're saying too. I have in my past been a birth and postpartum doula, which is not at all what I'm doing now. And I also taught technical skills. Like I was a tech trainer, then before that a network engineer, before the internet was the internet. So I've got this really broad range of things that I've done. And I am not afraid of doing entirely different things if it appeals to me and if it feels like the right thing to do. If my gut says, yeah, go for it, then.
Wow. So first thing that came to my mind is, and I bet you are someone who can stay peaceful amidst the storm.
Generally, yes. More so than people around me, yes. Does it feel peaceful to me? Or not so much, but I see you in the storm. I definitely would say that's true.
Yeah, and then the other thing is when you said you have this technical background, this background, that background, you shifted and you changed completely. I'd point out that this is magnificent as well, because now I bet you can blend this into what you do now. You can use the background, knowledge and wisdom that you have in your rucksack.
Right. It's all still there. It's just whether it's at the front or the back. But right. So when I started my own business the first time, I was able to use my tech skills to do some of the back end stuff that I probably would have had to hire someone to do if I hadn't had that.
Yeah.
The backdrop.
Yeah. Beautiful. So if someone who is watching this episode would love to learn more about you and would love to participate in your movement, how can people find you and what could they do with you?
I'm everywhere as Tapas Movement, TAPAS Movement, all one word. So that's on Facebook and Instagram and YouTube. That's my website, tapasmovement.com. So everywhere, it's that one handle that you can find me. You can join the community if you want to move with us, both move your body, but also join this movement. And if you are more interested in reading or, dipping in without diving in, I write on Medium and I publish videos on YouTube. So those are some easier ways to dip in if you want to go that route.
So if you are someone who wants to join the movement and wants to move and wants to disrupt, then Malik is the go-to person, and I'd highly recommend reaching out to her and getting in touch with her. Malik, one last question before we wrap it up. Is there maybe a little impulse or a little gem, something, a question, a thought, anything that you would love to give away right now, to give to the people that are watching? Anything that maybe is in tune with what you do, or anything that is really dear to your heart?
There is. So diet culture is incredibly insidious, and it is absolutely everywhere. And it takes a lot of work to even notice it when it comes up, much less take the step to dismantle it. And the thing I've found to be the most useful is the question why. So whenever anything comes up that has to do with how you look or who you are, ask yourself or whomever's talking to you about it, why? Why do I need to change? Why do I need to eat that? Why do I need to do X, Y, or Z? And just that's enough. You'll start to think about it, and you'll start to notice some of the things around you that don't resonate, and maybe you can start changing on your own.
Yeah. Always ask why. Which is just simple, but I bet it is effective. Yeah. Cool. Thank you so much for sharing your story, sharing your impulses, your ideas, and sharing about your life and your career. I totally loved having this conversation with you and sharing a little bit about your human design, sharing about your magnificence. And yeah, I'm still excited that you are here. And I hope that everyone out there enjoyed the conversation. Thank you, Malik, for being here.
Thanks for having me.
And thank you for listening to this episode of Magnificence, the Empowerment Podcast, where we strike a match and shine the light on the magnificence of its guests. Talk to you soon. Bye for now.
Thank you for joining us for this empowering episode. To continue this journey of aligning with your true purpose and uncovering your magnificence, schedule an illumination call with Patricia at patricialindner.com. Please share this episode with someone who needs it, and subscribe to the show on YouTube and your favorite podcasting platform. Join us again soon for another episode of Magnificence.